When Poirot first appeared on British television, nobody expected a meticulous Belgian detective to become a national treasure. Yet over time, this series achieved something few crime dramas ever manage.
Poirot shall act.
Fact 1.
My teeth are perfection. It is sacrilege to tamper with them.
Hercule Poirot is not British, yet he became one of British television's most beloved characters. This cultural contradiction is part of the show's strange magic. Poirot speaks with a foreign accent that never fades. He holds on to manners that feel old-fashioned even by British standards. His obsession with order borders on the absurd. And yet audiences embraced him completely. British TV rarely allows outsiders to dominate its prestige dramas. Poirot did exactly that for over 2 decades. His foreignness made him stand out in a sea of familiar detectives. Viewers found comfort in his predictable routines. His insistence on politeness felt soothing in an increasingly cynical TV landscape. Poirot never chased criminals through alleyways. He defeated them with logic and restraint. This approach felt almost rebellious as crime dramas grew darker. The character became a symbol of calm intelligence. His outsider status made him timeless rather than dated. He didn't belong to any specific British era. That made him endlessly rewatchable. The irony is that Britain claimed him as its own, and that contradiction only deepened his appeal. But this was only the beginning of the strange spell Poirot cast.
I thought you liked the country.
But this is not the country, my friend. The country is full of trees and flowers.
Fact 2.
Is that not Ralph Walton? He was a big star before the talkies.
David Suchet did not simply act Poirot. He studied him as if preparing for a religious role. Suchet famously read every Poirot novel before filming began. He treated Agatha Christie's descriptions as strict law. Even minor physical details were followed precisely. Poirot's walk, posture, and hand movements were all calculated. Suchet built the character from the inside out. He believed Poirot's psychology mattered more than plot twists. This level of devotion is rare in television. Most actors adapt characters over time. Suchet refused to drift. He maintained consistency across decades. This made Poirot feel unusually real. Audiences sensed that discipline instantly. Nothing about the performance felt casual. Even silence was carefully shaped. The moustache became iconic because it was taken seriously. Suchet never mocked Poirot's vanity. He respected it. That respect transferred to viewers. The result was a detective who felt permanent. Not a role, but a presence. And that presence would soon reshape British TV crime forever.
That's a king's ransom, Poirot.
When it is used to ransom a king, it becomes interesting to Poirot.
Fact 3.
When the time comes to act, Poirot will act.
Most long-running TV shows visibly age. Poirot somehow moved in the opposite direction. Early episodes were lighter and more playful. Later episodes became darker and more cinematic. The production values increased dramatically over time. Storytelling slowed and grew more psychological. This evolution felt deliberate rather than accidental. The show matured with its audience. It trusted viewers to follow complex moral dilemmas. Violence was implied rather than shown. Atmosphere replaced action. This made later episodes feel almost theatrical. Poirot himself seemed more haunted. His certainty slowly cracked. The tone shifted from comfort to melancholy. Few detective series dare to become sadder as they age. Poirot embraced that risk. The character reflected on justice, not just crime. Episodes lingered on consequences. This gave the series unexpected emotional weight. Viewers weren't just solving mysteries, they were watching time catch up with a legend, and that slow transformation kept audiences hooked.
You are in no danger, mademoiselle. Poirot, he gives to you his word.
Fact 4.
It's as though she's holding the gun. But in fact, she isn't. It's just sort of lying in her hand.
Poirot made murder look refined. Crimes occurred in drawing rooms, trains, and country estates. Violence rarely felt chaotic. Everything was arranged, symmetrical, and composed. Even death followed a strange order. This aesthetic choice was deliberate. The show avoided gritty realism. Instead, it offered visual comfort. Costumes, sets, and music created a dreamlike world. Murder became a puzzle rather than a shock. This allowed viewers to relax into the story. Fear was replaced by curiosity. The elegance softened disturbing themes. It also made the show endlessly repeatable. You could watch an episode without emotional exhaustion. That was rare for crime drama. The beauty distracted from the brutality. Poirot himself reinforced this tone. He restored order after every crime. Justice felt neat and complete. The world made sense again. In uncertain times, this was powerful television, and once viewers experienced that comfort, they always came back for more.
Cord or something. Tripped over the cord.
Fact 5.
Voila. Is there nothing to which Hercule Poirot cannot turn his finger?
Hand.
While other detectives updated with the times, Poirot stayed firmly in the past. The series never chased trends. There were no flashy edits or contemporary slang. Technology barely existed. This resistance to modernization became its strength. Poirot existed outside the present. Viewers entered a controlled, predictable world. That stability felt luxurious. It separated the show from competing crime dramas. Poirot didn't need realism to feel relevant. His logic felt eternal. Human nature remained the real mystery. The lack of modern references prevented aging badly. Episodes from the 1990s still feel timeless. This gave the show an unusually long shelf life. New audiences could discover it easily. Nothing felt outdated. The past became a permanent setting. Poirot stood still while television changed around him. That stillness became iconic. And as the world grew faster, his slowness became irresistible. But the strangest reason for his dominance was yet to come.
A disappearing domestic at one end, a cold-blooded murder at the other.
Fact 6.
Quite comfortable?
Poirot never pretended to be on the same level as the audience. He was always several steps ahead. The show never tried to hide this imbalance. Viewers were invited to observe, not compete. Poirot frequently solved the case long before the reveal. He allowed others to speak, knowing they were wrong. This created a unique power dynamic. Instead of guessing the killer, audiences watched how Poirot would expose them. His confidence bordered on arrogance, yet it never felt cruel. Poirot enjoyed being right, but not humiliating others. He often expressed disappointment rather than triumph. This made his intelligence feel humane. British television rarely celebrates overt intellectual superiority. Poirot did it unapologetically. His ego was part of the pleasure. Viewers trusted him completely. That trust removed anxiety from the mystery. You could relax knowing Poirot had control. The tension came from anticipation, not confusion. Every episode promised revelation, and once you experienced that certainty, you wanted it again.
This is Monsieur Hercule Poirot.
Ah, a great detective. I must watch my step.
Fact 7.
But even so, Chief Inspector, it gives you the chance once again to enjoy the life of the single man, n'est-ce pas? I'm not sure.
Poirot proved that nothing happening could be fascinating. Long pauses were common. Conversations unfolded slowly and deliberately. Characters often sat instead of moved. The camera lingered instead of cutting away. Silence became a dramatic tool. Poirot frequently said nothing at all. His stillness forced others to reveal themselves. This defied modern television logic. There were no frantic chases, no last-minute rescues. The drama lived in facial expressions. A raised eyebrow could carry an entire scene. Viewers learned to watch closely. Attention became part of the experience. The show rewarded patience. It trained audiences to slow down. That made Poirot feel sophisticated. Watching became an active process. The quiet demanded respect. Few series trusted viewers this much. This confidence made Poirot feel elite. And once you adjusted to the rhythm, faster shows felt exhausting by comparison.
In my soup.
And the soup, it was served then in exactly the same manner as it was tonight?
Yes.
Fact 8.
To ensure that she was hanged for a murder she did not commit. I don't see it, Poirot.
Poirot was not obsessed with punishment. He was obsessed with truth. Often he delayed exposing the killer. He wanted confessions to come willingly. Poirot understood guilt better than law. He believed justice was emotional, not procedural. This made his solutions deeply personal. He studied motives more than evidence. Human weakness fascinated him. Poirot saw crime as a moral failure, not a puzzle. He often showed compassion toward the guilty. Some endings felt bittersweet rather than triumphant. Justice came with consequences, not celebration. This approach added emotional depth. Viewers weren't just watching crime solved, they were watching people confronted with themselves. That made each reveal unpredictable. Sometimes justice felt uncomfortable, sometimes it felt tragic. Poirot forced audiences to reflect. Was truth always the right outcome? That moral tension lingered long after episodes ended, and it made viewers eager for the next ethical dilemma.
Where Hercule Poirot is concerned, there arises immediately the suspicion of murder.
Fact 9.
If you had told your wife, Madame Sally, just how you were so lonely and how you were so desperate, she would never have left you for Michael Wayman.
Poirot rarely worked alone, but he always stood apart. Captain Hastings represented instinct over intellect. Miss Lemon embodied efficiency without imagination. Inspector Japp relied on authority rather than insight.
All four of them at the same thing.
Excellent, Miss Lemon.
Must have slipped it to the old girl separately.
No, Chief Inspector. That cannot be.
Each character highlighted Poirot's uniqueness. They asked the questions viewers were thinking. Poirot answered with patience and superiority. This structure made explanations satisfying. No detail felt rushed. Dialogue replaced exposition dumps. Relationships added warmth to the series. Poirot wasn't isolated. He was surrounded by contrast. That contrast sharpened his brilliance. Supporting characters grounded the stories emotionally. They reacted the way normal people would. Poirot reacted the way only he could. This balance prevented the show from feeling cold. It also created gentle humour. The dynamic never grew stale. Familiarity became comforting. Viewers returned for the relationships as much as the mysteries, and that emotional continuity kept loyalty strong.
That Mademoiselle Bruce maintains it was Lady Stubbs who asked her to take refreshments to the boathouse.
Fact 10.
Drifting across the lawn on the breeze.
I think that is quite enough.
Madame, until the curse is lifted, there will be no peace at Nas. You know this is true.
Poirot did something almost unheard of in television. It ended deliberately and conclusively. The final story confronted Poirot with himself. His principles were tested to breaking point. He faced moral choices with no clean answers. The tone was darker than ever before. The show refused nostalgia.
On one of the comics that was given to Marlene Tucker to read, was it something like Biddy Fox has a secret den?
It demanded reflection instead. Poirot was no longer invincible. His certainty fractured. Justice became ambiguous. Viewers were shocked by his decisions. The ending recontextualized everything that came before. Past episodes gained new weight. The character felt tragically human. It was a bold risk for a beloved series. Many shows avoid finality. Poirot embraced it. This gave the series artistic credibility. It didn't fade away. It concluded with purpose. The ending stayed with viewers. And after that, revisiting earlier episodes felt entirely different.
He knew all about the Folliot family. He knew about your husband. He knew about your two sons who died abroad. Only they did not, did they?
Fact 11.
That I salute this most beautiful of flowers, which shares my own humble name.
Poirot turned thinking into a form of indulgence. His intelligence was never rushed or stressed. He treated logic like fine dining. Every deduction was savoured. The show framed intellect as elegance. Poirot dressed well, spoke carefully and thought deeply. His mind was part of his refinement. This linked intelligence with class. Viewers didn't just admire his brilliance, they aspired to his composure. Poirot never panicked. He never scrambled for answers. Even danger felt controlled around him. This calm was contagious. Watching Poirot slowed the viewer down. Thinking became pleasurable. The show suggested that patience was powerful, that observation could be superior to action. Intelligence felt safe, not threatening. In a noisy television world, Poirot whispered, and that whisper felt exclusive, drawing viewers closer every time.
So far, I have not seen one likeness that is truly accurate.
Fact 12.
Who could possibly have committed the murders?
I know, that's what stumped me.
Poirot never explained itself unnecessarily. It assumed viewers were paying attention. Clues were subtle and sometimes fleeting. Dialogue often carried double meanings. Important details were easy to miss. The show never apologized for this. It rewarded repeat viewing. Audiences felt respected. That respect built loyalty. Viewers leaned forward instead of switching off. Watching Poirot felt like a partnership. The show didn't spoon-feed solutions. It invited careful observation. This created a sense of intelligence sharing. Even when viewers were wrong, they felt involved. That involvement was addictive. Each episode felt like a quiet challenge. You wanted to do better next time. The series didn't chase ratings tricks. It trusted quality to hold attention. That confidence was rare, and it made Poirot feel like television for grown-ups.
And you cannot fail to notice the mud across the back of his shoes. You put those two facts together, Hastings.
Fact 13.
Do you still have stationed at the manor house the constable outside in the garden? Bon, then listen to me carefully. You must give to him the following instructions.
Poirot never overwhelmed the viewer emotionally. Even at its darkest, the series felt controlled. There were no shocking twists for shock's sake. Fear was restrained. Violence stayed off-screen. Emotional moments unfolded slowly. This made the show comforting. Viewers knew what kind of experience they were getting. Poirot didn't betray expectations. That reliability mattered. In uncertain times, predictability felt reassuring. Poirot offered structure. Each episode restored order. Chaos was temporary. Justice arrived calmly. This emotional safety encouraged long-term attachment. People returned again and again. The show became a ritual.
Thank you, Mr. Poirot. A most discerning choice.
You are most kind, Monsieur Trumper.
Familiar music, familiar faces, familiar rhythms. That consistency built trust. Poirot became something viewers could rely on, and once a show earns that trust, it rarely loses its audience.
And of most significance, Hastings, who put the petrol in the water butt and why?
Fact 14.
Difficulties are made to be overcome, Mr. Poirot.
Difficulties are made to be overcome. What a truly magnificent attitude.
Poirot didn't feel disposable. It felt permanent. Episodes weren't rushed out of relevance. They were crafted to last. This gave the series cultural weight. It felt closer to literature than television. Poirot invited comparison with classic drama. Each story stood alone, yet belonged to a whole. This elevated its status. Critics treated it seriously. Broadcasters protected it carefully. Viewers sensed that care. The show wasn't chasing trends, it existed above them. Poirot became part of the British TV identity. It was something you inherited, not discovered. Parents passed it down. Repeats felt welcome, not redundant. The series aged gracefully. It didn't need reinvention. That sense of permanence made Poirot feel royal, and royalty, once crowned, is hard to replace.
All in a single stroke, 1,000 deaths, and then perhaps so easily, 1,001.
Fact 15.
With one stroke, Edward Clayton is dead, and Major Rich will hang for the murder.
Poirot concluded its story, but not its presence. Reruns continued to draw audiences. New generations discovered it unexpectedly. Streaming gave it renewed life. The character outlived his era. Poirot became shorthand for quality. His image alone promised sophistication. Few detectives achieved that status. The performance remained definitive. No replacement felt necessary. Poirot was complete. That completeness made revisiting episodes satisfying. There was no unfinished business. Viewers knew where the journey ended. That knowledge added depth to every earlier case. Poirot became a closed circle. Television rarely achieves that. The series didn't fade into nostalgia. It stayed relevant through craftsmanship. Poirot became British TV royalty by refusing to behave like television at all. And that final contradiction is what keeps him alive forever.